This abandoned wolf dog always stayed in a corner. Now he's inseparable from his new best friend. Abandonment can leave dogs with severe trust issues, and this poor pup was no exception. In fact, rescuers found him on the streets of Los Angeles, and he surprised them with just how wild he seemed. However, it was an even wilder friend who would give him a new outlook on life. In early July 2016, Animal Control responded to sightings of a stray dog in a south-central LA suburb. Then the team tracked the animal down in a park where they determined he was clearly ill. In fact, his feet were so swollen he couldn't run away. And while nobody knew the dog's origins, his nervous nature around humans hinted he had a difficult start in life. After all, he was wearing the remains of what rescuers thought was a crude collar around his neck. Presumably then, somebody had once kept him as a pet. However, whatever his life had been like before his time on the streets, his owner had left him in quite a state. In fact, he was in dire need of medical attention. Therefore, the team took the stray to the shelter, where staff could look him over more carefully. Sadly, closer inspection revealed the stray to be only a year old and in terrible condition. He was drastically underweight from malnourishment and riddled with parasites, while mange had caused severe fur loss. But staff soon discovered he wasn't just a typical mutt. In fact, their new stray, dubbed New Boy, was a wolf-dog hybrid, and his mixed ancestry could have cost him his life. Hence, the shelter alerted a non-profit group called Wolf Sanctuary to New Boy's desperate situation. This organization is dedicated to providing homes to captive-born wolves and wolf-dog hybrids. Wolf received an urgent request for help from Apex Protection Project, one of our wolf rescue partners in California. The group wrote on its website, "There was a young wolf dog in a shelter in LA County, California, who needed immediate rescue. He was most likely slated for euthanasia since wolf dogs can't be adopted out to the general public," the group explained. After all, wolf dogs are less domesticated than their dog relatives and have special living and training requirements that most people can't fulfill. So within 24 hours, a wolf rescue team had boarded a plane and landed in California to take New Boy to Wellington, Colorado. From there, the group's vets could get to work trying to save the animal's life. However, the wolf dog's condition was so bad that his vet, Dr. Tiva Stone, decided the animal needed time to recover in Wolf's infirmary. At first, New Boy seemed terrified of humans and shrunk into corners away from his rescuers. But after a few days of patience and kindness, the wolf dog's defenses dropped enough for treatment, and Dr. Stone's combination of antibiotics, painkillers, medicated baths, and nourishing food did wonders for her charge. Thankfully, New Boy recovered quickly, and to celebrate, Wolf held a contest to give him a new moniker, the winning name, Castiel, after the angel of rebirth from the TV show Supernatural. For those of you who watch the show Supernatural, you'll recognize the angel Castiel, who's resurrected over and over again, Wolf wrote on Facebook, and this angel was proving true to his namesake. After all, his recovery was as speedy as it was impressive. Our Castiel's eating like crazy, showing some spark now that he has energy, and taking naps when necessary, Wolf continued. His paws are healing well and he's starting to gain weight. And he's always ready for more food, despite the numerous feedings throughout the day. In fact, the wolf dog's love for food cracked open the doors of his trust. Indeed, as Castiel became surrounded by more people who cared for him and fed him, his attitude toward people began to change. He even grew comfortable enough to take food from the sanctuary's volunteers. So just 8 days after his rescue, Castiel was far more accepting of humans. His health is improving every day, and he's stealing lots of hearts along the way, the sanctuary's social media update reported. He was even visited by internationally acclaimed sculptor and longtime wolf supporter Rosetta. In fact, he showed such progress that it was no time at all before the wolf dog was able to get a little more exercise and explore the offsite infirmary. He's doing so well. Hopefully, we'll be able to take him up to his forever home at the sanctuary in a few days, Wolf wrote. So as Castiel became healthier and a little more confident, Wolf staff began to notice his interest in other animals too. Our director had a number of dogs. The sanctuary's animal care director, Michelle Proulx, told the Dodo. The infirmary was located at her house, and we noticed him getting really interested in them. On July 19, 2016, Castiel made the move from the infirmary to the sanctuary at Wolf. It was then that the staffers decided he needed to make a close friend. We knew he was starting to get lonely for canine companionship and wanted to find a companion for him, Brooks explained. Therefore, Wolf contacted some other sanctuaries about wolf dogs in need of a permanent home, and it wasn't long before they struck gold. "We got a hit almost immediately," Brooks said. "This is indicative of the problem that's out there, that there's so many of them in need of homes." Animal Control originally picked up 3-year-old wolf dog stray Tenali in Iowa. However, her situation was the same as Castiel's. Her breed marked her for euthanasia. Luckily, though, her charms had won over one of her shelter's workers, and in a stroke of further fortune, the employee was in a position to help her. Tenali's new savior made a call to a central Wisconsin-based group, the Grey Wolf, and it was very interested in helping her. So it was that the workers' connections put the beautiful girl in caring foster placement until she could find a permanent home. Tenali's foster family had furthermore taken good care of her, and she was in excellent health when the call came from Wolf. So on July 23, 2016, just 4 days after Castiel arrived at the sanctuary, he had his first blind date with another wolf dog. After having spent who knows how long alone, Castiel's disposition was the opposite of Tenali's in many ways. For instance, he was nervous and shy, whereas she was bubbly and energetic. Castiel was overwhelmed by his new companion and remained a bit aloof and reclusive, Wolf's website reported. It continued, "Tenali had very good instincts and she gave Castiel the time he needed to feel comfortable. She explored her new enclosure, played in her water bucket, enjoyed her daily feeding, and eagerly visited with wolf staff who often stopped by with treats." Brooks said after a couple of days, Castiel started to realize she wasn't going to hurt him, so the two soon began spending more time together, and Castiel's confidence grew exponentially. In fact, Tenali and Castiel became close friends. As the two took their walks and played together each day, their bond strengthened until they'd become inseparable lifetime companions. Plus, Tenali was perfect for helping Castiel acclimate to his new home and made his transition to the wolf sanctuary more comfortable. From his rough beginnings on the streets of LA, Castiel has now found his forever home at the wolf sanctuary, and thanks to Tenali has left his loneliness far behind him. His Angel of Restoration name is well deserved. The transformation this wolf dog went through is incredible. Still, both Castiel and Tenali were lucky to have found a home at Wolf Sanctuary, where dedicated staff have devoted their time to rescuing these animals from euthanasia. You can find out more about its work on its website. Fortunately, Wolf supporters continue to help Tenali, Castiel, and the other sanctuary residents through the Guardian Angel sponsorship program. Indeed, every year the sanctuary assigns each one of its wolves a Guardian Angel. In return, the sponsor receives several exclusive rewards and news about their wolf's progress. And in September 2016, Wolf posted an update on Castiel's recovery. "Castiel, you've come a long way, friend," the sanctuary wrote. "It has been our honor and pleasure to care for you during your progression along with the love and support of our family on social media." Sometimes a little TLC is all it takes for the pooch to start feeling right as rain. Like Castiel, this pup was found wandering through the streets, and his swollen face made him look very out of sorts. And naturally, rescuers were shocked at the state he was in, but looking at him now, you'd never guess the ordeal he'd been through. In January 2016, animal welfare organization Animal Aid Unlimited posted a shocking video to YouTube. In the clip, a statement explained how a concerned member of the public had called them. In particular, the individual reported that they spotted a street dog with a horribly swollen face. With no time to lose, a team from the organization rushed to the scene to find the dog. When they finally located him, he was standing in the dirt near the village of Udaipur in India, and as they'd been warned, he was in a bad way. At first, however, the dog was wary of the Animal Aid Unlimited ambulance team. Before long, though, he skipped over to a member of the rescue effort. All at once, the animal revealed his docile nature. And now that they were touching distance of the dog, the sheer extent of the swelling became obvious. As a result, the team knew that he was in desperate need of veterinary attention. But before they could get him medical help, they had to win his trust. Indeed, it was essential that they could reach out to him if they were to bring him to safety. Unfortunately, though, the stricken animal was still cautious of the humans, so the Animal Aid Unlimited team changed tack and instead began feeding biscuits to the desperate dog. After he was given the offering, he began wagging his tail. Encouraged by the dog's reaction, the team decided to try and capture him with a net. Crucially, they had to get their hands on him quickly, for if he were to make his escape into the nearby fields, they'd never be able to get him back. What's more, the team had only one chance to get it right, so they carried out their best-laid plan. One team member distracted the dog with food while another eased the net over his head. Carefully, they slipped the net over him, and they had him. Now that they'd safely captured the dog, the Animal Aid Unlimited team could take him to receive treatment. Since 2002, the charitable organization has rescued Indian street animals and has worked to inspire locals to care for their fellow living beings. Its team treats rescued animals at the charity's hospital, giving them a second chance at life. Hence, when the dog arrived at the shelter, he was in the best possible hands. Vets carried out a thorough inspection of him in a bid to get to the bottom of what was causing the swelling. During the investigation, they punctured his face with a needle, a process that they used to confirm the animal had an abscess. Moreover, that abscess required urgent treatment. The medical team placed the dog under sedation so the operation could begin, and then shaved and cleaned the area around it. Now they could lance the growth and drain it of blood and fluids. After ensuring they'd removed all the pus they could, the team then cleaned the resulting cavity. In addition, they made a large incision in the canine's face and inserted a drainage pipe. This meant any excess fluid could escape in the future after they'd stitched the dog back together. Within time, the dog awoke from his slumber, and the difference that his surgery made was easy to see. Gone was his puffy face, and the medical staff could now make out his jawline clearly for the first time. And just 2 weeks later, the animal had been completely transformed. In fact, the video footage posted to YouTube showed him fully recovered and in good health. His swelling had also receded, revealing his beautiful face as a consequence. And while the dog had refused to be touched when he was first rescued, he now loved being fussed over. Staff would indulge the animal with strokes and cuddles, and he appeared to adore the attention. In just 2 weeks, he'd fully healed, an Animal Aid Unlimited representative confirmed. He's now so handsome and happy. Thank you for supporting our rescues and helping us save lives. And since the footage of the dog's rescue emerged online, it's proven to be immensely popular. In fact, nearly 4 million people have tuned in to watch the animal's transformation. What's more, many of the video's viewers couldn't resist adding their thoughts in the comments section. The poor little guy still wagged his tail at the beginning, even in pain, one user wrote. Man, it breaks your heart. It's good that there are people like the ones in Animal Aid. I love these people, another commenter added. Y'all are amazing. That dog would have just got worse, and to see him free of that pain and being loved and cared for is so deserving. We don't know exactly where the dog went after his recovery. However, it's likely that Animal Aid Unlimited released him back onto the streets. Unfortunately, the organization doesn't have the resources to house every dog it treats. Still, the more it can release, the more it can help in the long run.